Okay, so I'm just going to read the open meeting. This open meeting of the Grafton Planning and Building Committee is being conducted remotely, consistent with Governor Baker's executive order of March 12, 2020, due to the current state of emergency in the Commonwealth due to the outbreak of COVID-19 virus. In order to mitigate the transmission of the COVID-19 virus, we have been advised and directed by the Commonwealth to suspend public gatherings, and as such, the governor's order suspends the requirement of the meeting law to have all meetings in a publicly accessible physical location. Further, all members of public bodies are allowed and encouraged to participate remotely. The order, which you can find posted to the town's website, allows public bodies to meet entirely remotely so long as reasonable public access is afforded so that the public can follow along with the deliberations of the meeting. For any responses, please wait until I yield the floor to you and state your name before speaking. If members wish to engage in colloquy with other members, please do so through me, taking care to identify yourself. Okay, start the meeting. It's 6:05, Lisa. And we can start with the minutes that Lisa sent around. Is everybody good? Okay.
I would just note that it looks like the select board person missed last month too. Maybe we should just reach out to the select board to see if Doreen's not the one that can be available, if someone else could come.
Right.
I think it's important that they attend these, especially at this point where so much is going on.
Yeah, we had Peter Carlson here last time.
Okay.
Who jumped in for Doreen because she seems to have something that conflicts with Monday nights. So she got Peter last time, and I will send
Thanks
something out to them and see if there's anybody else that could be in on these meetings. So I will do that.
Maybe they could ask Brooke again.
Yeah. Maybe Brooke, yeah, that would be.
I'm teasing. They
I know, they will not.
Maker, John, such a
They
trouble.
will not.
John knows that the taped, right? And then I'll put it on the website. I just want to confirm that.
That's cool. Let's go with me.
And by my remarks.
So we
It'll
need
be
to
on
vote on the
Facebook.
minutes? Yeah, it will be, yeah, it is already is on there, John. So we want to vote on the minutes? Somebody want to make a motion?
I make a motion to accept the minutes for November.
This is Beth, I second.
Great. Vote by roll call. Beth?
Aye.
Prabhu?
Aye.
Lisa?
Aye.
Julie?
Aye.
John?
Aye.
And Doug?
Aye.
Okay, did I get everybody? Yeah. Okay, so we're on to you, Andy, the bills.
Woo-hoo. Okay. So we actually only have one Collier's bill tonight. The one from October we did last month. My mistake, and thank you, Lisa. So we have Collier's for August. Again, they're our commissioning agent. This is for August, $962.33.
I make a motion that we pay Colliers for August. Is that true? $962.33.
I'll second.
And vote by roll call. Beth?
Aye.
Prabhu?
Aye.
Lisa?
Aye.
Julie?
Aye.
John?
Aye.
And Doug?
Aye.
Okay, great.
Thanks. And I did talk to the person at Collier's to ask like why we always seem to be out of sync with their billing, but we can't quite tell if it's me or them. I'm always willing to say it's my mistake, but you know. Next one is for DA Sullivan in the amount of $9,450.
I make a motion that we pay DA Sullivan $9,450 for their October bill.
I'll second.
Vote by roll call. Beth?
Aye.
Prabhu?
Aye.
Lisa?
Aye.
Julie?
Aye.
John?
Aye.
And Doug?
Aye.
Great. Thanks. Next one up is for DRA for our design team. This is for November. And this amount is for $8,423.16.
I make a motion, we pay DRA for November, $8,423.16.
Julie seconds.
Okay, vote by roll call. Beth?
Aye.
Prabhu?
Aye. I'm sorry.
It's okay. Lisa?
Aye.
Julie?
Aye.
John?
Aye.
And Doug?
Aye.
Okay.
All right. Last one in terms of invoices is for Weston and Sampson. We're licensed site professional. This invoice is for October, and it's for $3,921.87.
I make a motion, we pay Weston and Sampson $3,921.87 for October.
Julie seconds.
Okay, vote by roll call. Beth?
Aye.
Prabhu?
Aye.
Lisa?
Aye.
Julie?
Aye.
John?
Aye.
And Doug?
Aye.
Great.
Okay.
Awesome. And
So that's it for the bills, or are we going to go right into?
we've got the requisition, so
Yep.
okay. That's it for all the other bills. So this requisition is number 13 for November from CTA. This has been reviewed by Ron, by Mark, by myself, and this is for a $745,244.57 for CTA.
Did you say November or October?
This is November.
November, thank you. So I make a motion that we pay CTA for the November rec for $745,244.57.
Julie second.
Okay, by roll call. Beth?
Aye.
Prabhu?
Aye.
Lisa?
Aye.
Julie?
Aye.
John? John?
Aye. Sorry.
No worries. Doug?
Aye.
Mary? Aye. Does anybody have any questions on it? Okay.
All right. So the report, clerk's report for the month. Big picture stuff is we're doing pretty well in terms of schedule. Things go up and go down a little bit every month, but right now we're in pretty good shape. A couple things we're concerned about is just there's one lower roof that is not completed yet, and so when it rains, the inside of the building is getting wet. So we're concerned about getting that done in time, and we're also concerned about getting the shingles all done on the roofs. Both of these things are sort of tied back to the masons being done with their staging. So some of their staging is up on that low roof, and so until they're done with what they need to do, they can't get their staging off, and we can't get the roof done. So we're going to be talking about that a bit tomorrow to figure out what the best way forward is to resolve a little detail at the roof on the big gable, the new gable ends, and get that kick-started and back in gear. The brick, as you've seen, perhaps is in great shape. They've got really just a little bit left to do. The exterior windows are going in. They look really good. We've had a bunch of conversations about those exterior windows and how they fit and what the detail looks like. And so there's a lot of eyeballs on that to make sure that goes the right way. Anything else? All the exterior openings are covered at this point. We have temporary heat on inside the building I don't think I had that in my report, but that's important. We do have 10 feet going on. So that's from the outside standpoint, that and the heavy timber guardrail, really heavy timber guardrail, got installed the other day, which was great. That's just another good thing on the outside of the building get ticked off. And then inside, all the walls are framed with maybe a couple of just small exceptions. Drywall's coming along. They're actually taping in and mudding the walls as well around the skylight area. So it's really going well. That's one of the reasons why temp heat is important, because if we're going to be doing some of that plastering kind of work, it needs to be above freezing and stay above freezing so that stuff can get applied and can dry appropriately. On the MEP side of things, the rooftop units, mechanical units, got picked up onto the roof last week by a crane. So that's always a big important step to get past, and that went really well. So no issues there. Inside the building, again, the plumbing, the electricians, the duct work, and fire protection is all kind of rolling along. So some people are working on the second floor primarily, some are working on the first floor primarily, but everybody's kind of working together and working around each other. So that's going really going pretty well. Just in terms of cost, I think you'll see so no change order to look at this month. There's a couple of small PCOs being discussed, but nothing to bring to you. So like Mark and I have been saying for a while, these things should be going in the right direction, and they are, right? So there's not a lot of the risk is out. There's still going to be some stuff that's going to come up, I know. For instance, in the existing building, some of the electrical fixtures that were in there, the lighting fixtures, are going to have to need to get rewired. So there's going to be something that comes out for that. But in general, cost is going in the right direction as well. Safety's been good. At the same time, when the building started to get closed up, I was concerned that everybody, at the time, it was still sort of an outdoor job, and there was sort of spotty use of masks. But since the building has been closed up, it's been really very good. I wouldn't say it's 100%, but it's really, I feel pretty good being in the building with everybody and what they're doing. So that's been a good thing. What else was the subcommittee knows what's been going on there. And like I said in my report, I've got a master list of all the fixtures and equipment that we're going to start to track the budgeting and the purchasing for all that stuff. Some people know, some people may not. Where we buy things from is regulated by the state, so we have to be careful about where we buy things. So I know Beth has some sources for library equipment that is good. We've got some we can buy things through the state purchasing system too. So we're putting together we're just putting together a strategy for that, so we can stay ahead of it and get things purchased before we need them, so that we'll be able to get them here on site at the right time. Those are kind of the highlights. Mark, what am I missing?
No, you're good. Whenever I follow you, I don't have much to say, but as Andy mentioned, I mean, the project's transitioning. We're moving from, in general, we're moving from the rough stage where the framework is being constructed, the interior walls are being constructed to we're starting to transition to the finished stage where things are being closed in. And so now, starting from the second floor down, the mechanical, electrical, plumbing trades are starting to get rough inspections in different areas. And once they get the inspections, then the walls can start closing up. And then Andy referenced the drywall starting to go, and then we need heat to start taping. And once you start taping, that means painting's not too far behind. So most of the discussions we're having now, as Andy mentioned at the job meetings, there aren't a lot of open RFIs. There aren't a lot of big PCOs, even submittals. The conversations we're having, like Andy mentioned, are, owner furnished equipment, or what color is the finish on the millwork. We're having very specific detailed types of conversations versus big picture conversation, which is good. That means we're moving in the right direction, very much kind of headed downhill. The schedule is just updated and it's holding true to where we thought it would be. We've picked up a little time. So everything is good. We want it to be at a certain point by mid-December, and we're going to be there, if not ahead of that spot.
Yep. The cost report, I kicked that out as well. I had to go through it and pick up a couple of details that I didn't have quite right. But you'll see that there's really not a big change. It's still a little hovering of the cost in terms of where we are with the project. So, and again, that's because we, what I look at in the executive summary of that is the projected cost, and projected costs really haven't changed significantly. We had a couple of UTS testing bills that came in, and that's kind of one of the few things that wasn't budgeted. So whenever that comes in, that changes the projected number for cost. But there aren't a lot of other things in there right now. Like I said, we'll see some other PCOs come up. But right now we're in good shape. Again, we're looking at one of the things we're looking at coming up is revised furniture budget. Ron's been working with the furniture consultant on that, so we're going to be seeing some refresh on that coming up soon. And I've got at least placeholders for all the other costs for equipment and furnishings right now. So I feel like we have a pretty good handle on where we are with cost and where we're headed. Any questions? We haven't really had too many tours in the last couple of weeks, which has been fine. But I don't know how much the donor side of this everybody hears about. We did have the last bullet point of my report was just we had a kickoff meeting with the landscape architect to talk about some potential areas that may be funded, or at least a couple of that will be funded, and then some other potential donors. So there's some fairly serious money sitting out there. Doug, is there anything you want to? I don't know how much you guys sort of bring this up in. We haven't really talked about this much in other building committee meetings.
Yeah, I mean, we've been quite successful here the last 2 months, and the donations have come in. It's looking really strong for us for that, or really good for that. And there's been a lot of interest in, various projects that aren't as part of the plan itself. So Andy's been helping us a lot with coming up with ideas and coming up with ballpark pricing for various aspects of donor options and opportunities.
Yeah. So as
I
those
think,
get, sorry, go ahead.
Well, no, I was gonna say we're not gonna speak specifics yet, but I think relatively soon we'll be able to talk some numbers to the group.
Sure. And as things actually start to get some traction, and we identify some projects or some additional scope, we'll bring that to this committee, so everybody should know it's part of the project. So everybody should know what's being discussed and what's being proposed, so that everybody can see it.
Definitely.
Mark?
One thing that should be noted, just to piggyback on that's some response from this committee might be needed sooner than later with respect to that. When we took a lap with the landscape architect, and they identified 6 to 8 different potential areas throughout the site that something could be done. And if it's a standalone planting area, that's one thing. There were a couple areas where, although the scope wasn't defined, we threw out different ideas, and some of those ideas included things like site lighting. Would we want to add lighting out here, or lighting from like outside the community room? Would you want that to be a space to congregate after hours, in which case you'd want outdoor lighting that's not there now? And if that's the case, and we're in this transition period where we're closing up walls and we need to get electricity into a point of the building, we need to do that sooner than later. So we're not taking drywall down and patching and getting a change order to undo what we just did. So some of those and things like say the conversations we're having, and Ron can talk about the finishes and furniture coming up, but this committee might need to be more involved with kind of quick twitch responses to should we get an empty piece of conduit over here to the outdoor space just in case a donor steps up or follows through with this potential revised site plan or not. And so we want to try to get ahead of those things. And same thing with picking out furniture or picking out certain finishes. We don't want to hold up the contractor. And in some of those things where we've got, say, carpet tile, if we've given them 98%, but 2% isn't released yet because we haven't picked out a color, well, he's looking to order the entire, that might as well be 0% because he needs the whole order. So there's things like that, again, it's good that we're at that point, but we can't really kind of sit back. We need to stay aggressive.
Yep. So Doug, that's why I was pushing to meet with Dana this week, what sounds like I'll be able to meet with her on Wednesday. Because I just want to make sure if there's anything that we know about that somebody definitely wants to do. If we've got a couple of donors that are definitely on board that want to do some things.
Yep.
If there's power or if there's something like that, like Mark suggested, I want to be able to get that implemented in some way as quickly as possible.
Sounds good.
All
So
right. Go ahead.
I have two questions, not related to that, just the last few conversations, but Mark, you mentioned that we're on schedule. Can you remind me what month that is next year? Is that still like June, July?
Right now, they've got substantial completion. I think it was the 5th of June, Andy.
Okay.
And then substantial completion after that. So punch list, things like that.
Okay. And then the second question, Andy, you mentioned, specific vendors to purchase things from. So we also talk about landscaping. Is there a way that we can at least make it possible that some of our local companies can contribute to that? I mean, I'm guessing it goes out to bid, and a local landscaping company could bid on that stuff, or
Probably. Well,
I'm thinking like I guess even just plants, right? Where they buy the bushes and the trees. Like, can we do that from a local supplier?
We have a landscape company already on board. And so if this work was going to be done in conjunction with the project, then it would probably have to go through him, but I don't know. We'll have to talk about that. Mark, what do you think about that?
Yeah, to avoid the public bidding process, you'd have to make it a change order within this contract. So you could go to the CTA's landscaper or through CTA and say, we want the plants to be furnished by this entity, and go through them. And what you might end up having to pay for is their markup on top of the local supplier, but you pull in that local supplier.
I see, but that landscape person probably already has his suppliers in mind. Okay.
For what's contractually owned, if we're talking about over and above,
Right.
Then I don't think it'd be an issue.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Yeah.
I had a question, Andy. In terms of overall completion, what would be a gut feel in terms of a percentage? Is it 70% done, 60% done?
Well, I think we were around 50% last month. Yeah, I'd have to, I don't know, Mark, what do you think? I mean,
I don't have the pay app in front of me, but it's on the last page of the pay app.
it is.
Mhm.
I mean, that's in terms of cost. Yeah.
In terms of
I mean,
cost?
so in general, this is pay application number 13, and they've got 6 months to go for substantial completion.
So 65%.
Right, so that's right about that. So instead of 19 or 20 months worth of billing, and we're 13 months.
Oh, sorry. So Mark, so you are referring to the burn rate, how much we are burning out and what's still pending, right? So I was looking in terms of physical completion. I was tracking that against what's the potential risk, because when we look at the projected cost versus the approved cost, we are hovering around that 450, 470 range. Actually, Andy and Mark, you guys actually saved 40K compared to October.
Yeah.
Right, so it went up. Right? Your projected cost came down, which is great. We always love to hear that number. Keep going down projected
Right.
cost. So if you look at that, and if you say 60%, 65% completed, ballpark, there is still a 35% completion, work to be completed. What's the risk that we might go? We might have something happening which might increase the projected cost. Gut feel at this point? Do we think we can still land safely within this number?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, as the walls close up, as we complete this transition, there's less opportunity for changes to come up unless this committee introduces those changes, like donor, betterments or something like that. So as far as field generated changes, like Andy said, moving into the existing building where we found some, existing electrical outlets that need to be rewired. Outside that, there's really not a lot of opportunity for changes to be generated from the field because we've already gone through all those.
Okay. And even something like that, if we had to pull a whole bunch of new wire for the fixtures in that existing building, I mean, even if it was a sort of a classic Griffin Electric horrific change order, it'd be $50,000. It's, we're not talking about 400,000. So
right.
I think we're, knock on wood, I think we're mostly out of the woods in terms of where the risk lies in the project.
Yep.
Awesome. Thank you.
I think that's all I had.
Okay. And Mark, are you all set as well with your update, or do you have more to say?
No, I think it would just be redundant, but in general, mid-June, we were hoping that by December 15th is kind of the date you keep in your head from construction we want to be weather tight. We want to have, temporary heat and so forth going, and we're going to hit that. And so I think overall, we're in a good place.
Excellent. It's good to hear. All right. Ron?
Hi.
Do you have an update?
Sure. I won't reiterate what Andy and Mark have already gone through for construction architecturally. What we've been working on with the design subcommittee are the solidification of the interior finishes and the going through the furniture package. So the interior floor finishes, the subcommittee came to an agreement on those items, and they've been forwarded on to the contractor for pricing and whatnot. I am wrapping up some other finish items, and we're having a design subcommittee meeting following this one. We're staying on after this meeting.
The clerk didn't get the notice in time, so we have to meet tomorrow. And John sent that out, I think. Sorry.
No need to apologize.
I wanted to do it all at once, but
no, it's not a problem. So
they needed two separate agendas. It couldn't all be on one, and we didn't get back to them in time with the correction.
I see.
It was end of day, so yeah.
Okay.
I tried and found out it violated open meeting because it's two separate meetings. So
I see.
Learned a new thing.
Well, thank you for the effort nonetheless. So what we'll be doing tomorrow night is going through some of the miscellaneous items like locker colors for the staff lounge, a couple of the other trim items. I provided the furniture rep with the comments that came out of last week's design subcommittee meeting, where we went through the additional items and recommendations that she had for us that were based on the comments that came out of our first review of the furniture recommendations. So I've gotten those comments back to her. She's going to go through them and come back to us with a revised budget estimate. At this point, it's still an estimate. And she will start tracking down samples for the library to test drive. And that's the fun and exciting part. From there, once we finalize which furniture items the committee would like to move forward with, we'll be starting to explore finishes, any colors, wood stains, paint colors. Biggest thing will be upholsteries for any upholstered seats, because there are a gazillion different upholstery options, and I'll be narrowing those down, making recommendations to the subcommittee for the subcommittee to review and talk about, and we can move forward from there. And then once we have that much information and we've checked the budget, we've looked at finishes, we'll be working towards a final furniture budget and a final furniture specification to move forward with placing an order. And that should all be happening within the next couple of weeks. The biggest thing is how fast she can get samples. It's usually, they don't have samples of every single furniture item on hand. Some have to come from manufacturers, some have to be borrowed from other distributors, or even sometimes from clients. But they'll be working towards getting us samples to check in. The biggest thing is usually the seating. Table samples, depending on the table, you'd like to see like a flip top table, you'd like to see a sample of it to see how it works. But the biggest thing is really seating. That's, and in particular, office seating. Anything that someone will be sitting in 8 hours a day, figuratively speaking, I want to make sure they've sat in it for 3 days, a couple, 2-3 days before they buy it. Sitting in a chair for 20 minutes is great, but sitting in a chair for 8 hours is much different. So that's where we're moving forward with the interiors, both finished selections and specification, and the furniture budget estimate, getting samples and moving forward with final selections. And we, of course, will keep the committee at large up to date with progress as we move forward. Any questions I can answer?
Yeah, Ron, have you heard anything from her, the distributor, about supply chain issues because of COVID? For furniture that used to take 8 to 10 weeks is now taking 20 to 25 weeks or whatever.
That's a fair question. I haven't heard of any delays yet. Has anyone seen delays on any other of their projects?
I just know on the construction side we're seeing that, and so I don't know if somewhere down the line for manufacturers, from light fixtures to whatever, if a factory goes on shutdown because of COVID, then everybody backs up behind them. So yeah, as we go through these different samples to look at, we should be checking on that just to see if any of these samples we're looking at has a ridiculous lead time, or if that matters. Maybe it doesn't matter if it's a table that's off in the corner, but if it's one of 3 dozen chairs that you need first day and we're not going to have them, then.
Yes, that's a good question. I will follow up with her to see if she can. I'm sure she can check into it for us. Talking with some friends of mine that work at other dealerships, they haven't really seen delays yet, but it's certainly worth keeping in mind and keeping ahead of it. Thank you.
I've had some delays, but it's been minor. Instead of getting it in 4 weeks, it's been 6 weeks. Or wood veneer stuff, going out to 10 or 12 weeks, but that's typical for wood veneer. That's very easy for that to do. So it hasn't been bad. I haven't experienced anything with COVID yet.
Yeah, just something to keep in mind. If we're 6 months away from them being substantially complete, then we need to have that, that's not that long. So we need to have that time frame in mind.
Right. Absolutely. And who knows what this winter will bring.
Right.
Oh, Yeah, between storms and illness, God knows what. At least we're not looking at early September when all the schools and universities are set to open.
Right.
That's just a nightmare season to be getting any kind of furniture. But we will certainly keep an eye on shipping dates as we work with the furniture consultant. Anything else? Okay, thank you very much.
Great. Thanks, Ron.
Thank you. And the subcommittee will be meeting tomorrow night at 6.
John, anything from the Historic Commission?
The only thing that I know that we discussed, and I don't know, Andy wasn't at the meeting when we discussed it, are the lights that for the parking, and there's some kind of spaceship-like saucer-shaped lights that may be on the building. And so they were looking to have more discussion about other options
So,
for exterior lighting.
yep. So I had Bill Nicholson joined us at that landscape meeting the other day because the Historic District Commission wanted to stay involved and just know sort of what those discussions are going to be about. And I talked to Bill for a few minutes. We were out in the parking lot. And I said, I really, the parking lot lights, A, I think have been purchased, and B, are so specific in terms of their performance that I really don't think that we can, replace those with like a carriage lantern kind of style thing. These have,
Right.
lumens and cutoffs, and there's all kinds of stuff that needs to happen with the parking lot lighting specifically to make a safe environment that I just don't think that we can do something else. The 5 or 6 lights that are on the new building, I think that's still open for discussion, but I know that the team in general likes those lights. I think they feel like there's a slim profile. I know that Mass Historic, if we took those light fixtures to Mass Historic, they would probably like them because they like to have new things on new buildings, even if the new buildings are old looking. So
Right.
So, I'm not sure where we are with that, and I'm still sort of hedging a little bit just to see if some other lighting comes out of the donor discussions that we need to deal with, and maybe that changes things too. So that part of it's still a little bit up in the air, I think.
Okay. Because I didn't have an issue with the spaceship lights. Those were okay.
Yeah.
But I don't think we saw, or maybe we didn't, I don't remember what they had planned for the parking lot, because there were some there, and I think you were at that meeting where they said those are all gone.
Yes.
So this is going to be totally new lighting. So
yeah, and that's a good. I'll make a note to send. We have the fixture cuts of those parking lot lights. I'll send that out to the committee.
Okay.
So they can see what that looks like. But
and I know one thing that is giving them a lot of heartburn, or some people, are the raised beds. So I'm not real sure how we're gonna. I think that can be done in a way that with bushes and other things that it's not on the front lawn, that it can be integrated in a way that it isn't offensive, and I think that it would be done attractively and maintained and so forth. So,
yeah.
But I'm not real sure why it's a pretty great opposition to it. But there is.
I think the talking to Bill the other day, it seemed that the concern was that they were just going to be sort of plopped there, and that's the whole idea for bringing in the landscape architect is to have a design for all the stuff that we're looking at, right? So they've designed some of the projects. Now there's some other opportunities coming up. We want them to take a look at this whole thing. So when you walk around the building from the front to the back to the side, that it all makes sense and it all blends together from one spot to the next. And so that's, yeah, the raised beds aren't going to look like an accident. They're not going to look like somebody just threw them together. They're going to be part of the whole site design. So I think it'll be good to get something for people to look at. That's always the most important thing, sort of fear of the thing you can't see. So once we can get some design behind some of this stuff, I think that'll help.
Yeah, but I think, like you said, only Bill was able to attend that meeting. And I think that would have allayed a lot of concerns if they had been a part of that meeting, because, you sent along the schematics or whatever, the areas. And I mean, that to me, it's like they are addressing it and looking at it,
Yeah,
and
I think-
making sure that it works. And that,
Right.
so I'm not concerned about it, but I'm only one.
But for the raised beds, are you talking about the garden beds or just other landscaping beds?
The garden beds.
Oh, okay, thanks.
So just to the last piece of that, so we are keeping the HDC in the loop with those discussions. We're also had Concom in the loop on that stuff. So anybody that might have an interest in any of this stuff, I'm making sure that they're aware of what's going on.
That's about it that I have.
Okay, great, thanks, John. So anything more on the subcommittee, interior design? Okay. No public input. Does anybody else have anything else they want to share or talk about?
Can we just schedule our next couple of meetings? We have one already scheduled for January 4th, and then the first Monday of February is February 1st. Do those dates work for everybody? Great, thank you.
I'll throw out the offer as usual. If anybody is around the holidays, if you're around and you want to come by and see the building, even if it's on a weekend, let me know a couple days ahead of time or the day before, or knock on my door when you're walking by my house. It's fun to come and see it when it's under construction. So I'm happy to give tours anytime you want.
Great. Okay, so I guess that's it. We can, by roll call, end the meeting.
I make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Yeah,
Anybody
I'll
want
second.
okay. Vote by roll call, Beth,
Aye.
Prabhu,
I
Lisa,
Aye.
Julie,
Aye.
John,
Aye.
Doug,
Aye.
Irene, aye. And Mary, aye. Awesome. 6:46. Nice job, guys.